have been dating my girlfriend for 3 months. Yes, we just started this relationship, and that is why I'm trying to decide if what I am going through is a red flag or a forgivable offense. I have been involved in some scandalous relationships in the past and really wished people had warned me about these red flags. My problem is that I can be a hopeless romantic, and even though I am not a simp, I still search for love in all the wrong places. I have been dating my girlfriend for a few months, but we have been friends for far longer. I met her at the beginning of last year in college. The spring semester started and fewer students were on the college campus, so when we met at a mutual friend's hangout, we clicked. There weren't many of us on campus, so people were making friends so that it wouldn't be a lonely semester. She's a junior studying art major and will be graduating this year. Here's what happened. My girlfriend told me she would be attending a Super Bowl party with a client that invited her from work. She works for an art gallery where they have exhibitions and sell expensive paintings. I figured since she was studying art history, it would make sense for her to work in an art-related field. I asked if I could accompany her to the party, but she declined. This was strange. Why would my girlfriend tell me I can't attend the party with her as a +1? This was in the beginning phase of our relationship, and we have been inseparable since we've been together. We do most things together as a couple. I told her that I didn't like the idea of being left out of a Super Bowl party like that, and it wasn't fair. She begged me to understand and told me she was going to be networking at the party. I asked if this was business or pleasure, and she told me it was both. This made me more uncomfortable. She explained there was an expensive oil paint she was trying to get sold to the prospective buyer that invited her, and if she could convince him at this party, she would make a great commission. I told her I don't care about the commission and wasn't trying to be bought off. This was a special Sunday. I should be with my girlfriend having a good time. The whole thing just wasn't right for me. But like I said, we just started the relationship and I wasn't trying to be a controlling boyfriend or the jealous type. She even accused me of being clingy and trying to block her financial opportunity and asked if the situation was reversed. Wouldn't I make the same decision? It dawned on me that this wasn't an argument. I wanted to push further, and I wasn't looking too good when she started to twist my words and add narratives from a female perspective. I apologized to her and told her to have fun at the party. I ended up going to the bar with my guys, and we had a lot of fun. First, we took an Uber ride, so we kept pouring shots since we won't be driving anyway. It was a good hangout with the boys. I tried to call my girlfriend twice, but her phone was switched off and just wasn't going through. I didn't want to become suspicious anymore. I just let it go. On my back, I visited her room since her phone wasn't going through and her roommate said she wasn't back home. We both have each other's room keys, so I made my way to her room to get some time to think before going back to my place. My girlfriend did not come home that night. The game ran late, but I made it back at a decent time. I even watched a few of the celebrations, then I fell asleep. My girlfriend opened her door at 5 a.m. in the morning. I quickly woke up from my sleep as I had slept off waiting for her. What I saw when my eyes were wide awake was surprising. My girl walked into the room with her hair looking a mess. She was fully clothed, but I saw visible paint all over her body that she couldn't hide. She was surprised to see me, and before I could say a word, she asked what I was doing in her room. I tried to explain that I came to check in on her because her phone wasn't going through, and I wanted to make sure she was okay. I told her this was one of the few times I'd come into her room without telling her prior. She would walk into my room every day and use my door keys to unlock the door, perhaps hoping she would catch me with another girl. She called it a trust exercise. I mean, what the heck? Why am I arguing about what I was doing in her room when she should be the one explaining why her whole body was covered in paint? Why was she just coming home from a Super Bowl party at 5 a.m. in the morning? She wasn't going to use reverse psychology this time around and switch this back to my fault. I firmly asked her, "What the heck happened to you tonight?" She told me to excuse her and went into the bathroom. She said yes, it was paint all over her, but she needed to wash off the paint and freshen up before talking to me. Actions as she went into the shower. I grabbed her phone to see what revelation I could get. I went to her photos, and it started to make sense to me that my girlfriend had changed from the clothes she wore when she left the house. She was fully naked at this party, only dressed in body paint. Some bits of her private videos on her phone showed what she called behind-the-scenes footage. She was explaining the body makeup process. This was very uncomfortable for me. We never discussed that she was going to attend the party dressed as a fantasy desire of several dudes in a room. It was a mansion party from the footage I could gather, with middle-aged men smoking cigars and some models there as well. It seems she wasn't the only one dressed in body paint, as I saw other girls painted as the opposing team. This was unsettling for me to watch because I was blindsided by this reveal. I quickly scrolled through her messages and started seeing more disturbing texts my girlfriend had deleted. Some of the texts were deleted, but the full story I was picturing was that my girlfriend had been paid to attend the party as a model and not a guest. The guy texting my girlfriend told her to bring some of her friends if they wanted to make extra money. He went further and said that there would be extra money-making opportunities after the party was over if they were interested. He added they might need to give something back in return that might or might not involve private shows for some guys willing to pay. I was flabbergasted at this point. Who is this girl I call my girlfriend? Have I rushed into another relationship bound to fail? At this point, I was just boiling with anger. I tried to remain as calm as possible and dropped the phone when my girlfriend came out of the shower. I told her to start explaining. She first started off with a lie. She said she went to the party and started talking to her client, who agreed to buy her paintings. She said they even gave her cash, and she pulled out stacks of $100 bills from her bag. She told me she was meant to go to the office in the morning in a few hours. She said she had to deliver the payment plus arrange the delivery transaction. She told me her manager would be impressed and told me she was heavily tipped as well. I knew she was straight up lying in my face. I even couldn't be mad anymore. She didn't know that I had seen her phone and got the truth that I wanted. I just sat there and wanted her to keep going and see how creative she was with the lies. I wanted to see the extent she was willing to go. I asked why she had dollar bills in her bag as well. Then she told me those were the tips. She supposedly sold a couple thousands worth of oil paint but received her tip in dollar bills. She said yes and told me the client even deliberately overpaid her because his team won the ring. She would be pocketing some huge commission money. She told me to remember how the argument we had before she left went sour and that I shouldn't start with another argument at past 5 a.m. in the morning. She said she was a grown, independent woman and could do whatever she pleases. She added that with all the money she had just made that night, she was going to treat me like a king and take me to a fancy restaurant that day. I told her not to try bribing me with food, but answer my questions like, how did you end up in a body paint? If you were making sales pitch and winning clients, when did paint get in the mix? She stated she disliked my interrogatory tone, stalled for time, and then her face gleamed up as she started cooking another story. She said after she secured the sales, the client told her he was missing one of the models he hired for the event as a no-show. She said he offered to double the rate fee for her if she could do it and replace the missing model. She wanted to call me, according to her story, to ask if I was okay with the arrangement, but her phone battery went dead, so she just accepted the extra cash and did some body paint modeling. I said, really? I reached into her bag and brought out the phone. I said, this phone battery life is at 65. Did it magically get charged? She said, oh, she got a car charger and charged it on the way home. No matter what I asked, this girl had an answer for everything. I have never seen a professional liar so smooth as her. I even started to doubt what I read on her phone at this point. I snapped out of it and simply just called her name and told her I had gone through her phone and her story didn't line up. She went ballistic and started accusing me of going through her phone and lacking trust. She said I should not have gone through her phone when she wasn't there. She said the only time she had gone through my phone was when I was around and blah blah blah. I said, okay. And I was sorry, but this relationship won't work. I quietly got up and started to leave. It seems my girlfriend had double personality at this point because she went from being irritated that I went through her to suddenly wallowing in tears, sobbing and crying out loud. She held onto my feet and started begging me not to leave. She said she admits parts of her stories were lies because she didn't want to upset me because she loves me. She told me to give her a chance to reveal the whole truth and provide evidence. She was crying profusely and a part of me felt bad. Nobody liked to be betrayed, and I honestly feel like since we were in the beginning of the relationship anyway, it was better to just walk away. I was ready to walk off. Then she told me something that made me stay and wanted to listen to her. What she told me was understandable to an extent, which is why I am deciding if I should stay and work this out or heed this warning signs and leave the relationship. It's quite honestly long, so I would break this story into parts. I want you all to digest my predicament and help me make a good decision knowing the full story. Like why she stayed late, what she really does for a living, and what she was hiding from me apart from the lies of that day. A relationship is complicated, but it shouldn't be this complicated if only people could be real and stop assuming men are the liars, cheaters, and scums of earth. Trust me, women can be 100 times worse. Subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the update.